Hey yo, today we're diving into the best games to play together on a single PC, from timeless classics to chaotic party titles and even some hidden gems. This isn't just another list, it's a guide built on years of experience as a gamer, a dad, a husband and someone who's been playing since the early 90s, often side by side with someone else on the same keyboard or couch. And yeah, here and there I'll share my own take on who I think each game works best with. Some are perfect for your kid, others for a long-time friend, and a few, well, maybe test them with your spouse at your own risk. Let's get into it. Part 1. Timeless Cooperative Classics. Portal 2. Portal 2 is already a legendary title. Even if you've only played in the solo campaign, the co-op mode is a completely separate storyline with its own puzzles and that same sharp Portal humor. Everything that defines the series is here: physics-based challenges, turrets, energy gels. Only now there are two sets of portals and teamwork becomes non-negotiable. Perfect for pairs who like to think and communicate, or yell and restart the level for the 5th time. You can play it both locally and online, so you're covered either way. Castle Crushers, a beat 'em up for up to 4 players from the masters of co-op mayhem at the Behemoth. The plot? An evil wizard kidnaps princesses and destroys the kingdom, and your brave heroes are here to fix things. Expect a lot of fun with over-the-top humor, genre cliches from sci-fi to horror, and chaotic boss fights. One dragon even wears a sock puppet on its claw. Pick your elemental knight and hit the road. You'll face all kinds of enemies: barbarians, intelligent bears, aliens, ninjas, fish people, etc, etc. And before you rescue any princess, be ready for a duel against your co-op partner. Overcooked. Most two-player games teach cooperation and patience. Overcooked? That's a whole different story. You're chiefs at a madhouse of a kitchen, fighting the clock, colliding over ingredients, and it never goes to plan. I tried playing this with my kids once and it didn't go well, but hey, we still say hello to each other. That counts as a win, right? So yeah, maybe hide the sharp objects around the house, just in case. Divinity Original Sin and Part 2. Divinity Original Sin is a deep party-based RPG in the best tradition of tabletop classics like D&D. Sure, you can play it solo, but it truly shines with 2 players. Witty writing, tactical combat, spells, teleportation, chaos, it's all there. And if you already completed the first game, no worries, Original Sin 2 turns the dial even higher. We tried playing it online as a team of coworkers, did not make it past the second area. Great team building experience. Or team crashing. Part 2. Chaos, Lothar, and Friendly Fire. Super Bunny Man. Had a rough day? Need to laugh or scream into a pillow? Super Bunny Man delivers both. You control floppy bunnies in a pink and yellow suits, and physics is your worst enemy. I haven't played it myself yet, but a few friends told me, if you take this game seriously, it's a fast track to broken friendships. But if you just want to laugh your head off, it's perfect. Jump, fail, fall, grab the carrot, maybe, and try not to rage quit. Brad and Fred. 2 penguins, 1 rope, a snowy cliff. What could go wrong? Well, everything. The further you climb, the more frustrating it gets. Swings, jumps, perfect timing. One slips, both fall. Surprisingly, this one works great with my kids. It's mostly about coordination, so your co-op partner can be really anyone, as long as you sync up. You can also dress them up, because nothing helps teamwork like matching penguins and silly hats. Human Fall Flat. Imagine a puzzle game where you control a marshmallow with bones. That's Human Fall Flat. You'll fail at jumping, door opening, and simply walking, but you'll do it laughing the whole way, hanging by one hand of a ledge while shouting, "Grab me!" That's the Human Fall Flat experience in one sentence. I played it with my son for a while. We actually managed to complete a few levels together, though to be honest, we both got bored with it pretty quickly. Though you might want to give it a shot. Goat Simulator. This started as a joke. It still is. You play as a completely unhinged goat running through town, headbutting civilians, flying with a jetpack, or triggering an apocalypse. Yep. There's no logic, just chaos, and bringing a second player along makes it twice as dumb. And actually twice as good. Party Animals. Pick a cute animal. Throw your friends off a speeding truck. Party Animals is soft, floppy, and surprisingly violent. You'll be flailing, grabbing, drop kicking, and laughing as stuffed cats, puppies, and dogs beat each other senseless. It's dumb fun at its finest, and if you don't betray your partner at least once, did you even play it right? Drunk Fu Style Fighters. This is the kind of game that feels like the devs watched Drunken Master 1 too many times and thought, what if we made a physics-based brawler out of that? The characters stumble, flail and land the most ridiculous punches imaginable. I wouldn't call it a fighting game, I'd call it a slapstick comedy simulator disguised as a co-brawler. One of you will fall over for no reason, the other will win by accident, and both of you will be laughing way too hard for it to matter. The next is Part 3, fighting games and beat 'em ups, punches, pixels and drama. Mortal Kombat 11/Mortal Kombat 1. Probably the best fighting game in recent years and maybe the best Mortal Kombats ever. Mortal Kombat 11 still leads the genre in terms of cinematic story mode. It's basically a high-budget interactive movie you could show to someone who's never touched a gamepad. And as for fresh blood, check out Mortal Kombat 1, a full reboot with reworked lore, new combat systems and updated visuals. The gameplay is tight, the characters are familiar yet different, and the finishers still wild. Tekken 7 and Tekken 8. If Mortal Kombat is all about drama and blood, then Tekken is about style, tech and half-screen special effects. Tekken 7 tells the story of Kazuya Mishima and Tekken 8 builds on that, faster, sharper and even more dynamic. This one's for players who enjoy digging into mechanics and combos. The game's deep, but if you just want to button mash and yell "I win!" it works too. Streets of Rage 4. The long-awaited continuation of the legendary beat-em-up series. Even though Sega wasn't involved, the new devs did a great job keeping the original vibe, just with a fresh art style and tuned-up combat. I'll admit I haven't played the fourth one yet, but back in the days I wore out my Sega cartridges with the first 3. This one's in my backlog, planning to run it with my son. And for a hit of real nostalgia, try the fan remake from 2011. It mixes all 3 classic parts with the new stages and characters. Too bad Sega shut it down instead of hiring the team. Still easy to find online even after the takedown. Fighting Force. Not a joke, this 1997 game still holds up if you're in the mood for a good old couch brawler. It was one of the first 3D beat-em-ups and had a cool gimmick. You could pick up almost anything as a weapon, signs, chairs, whatever's lying around. It works fine on a modern system, though gamepad support might need some tweaking. Not officially sold anywhere, even on GOG, but let's be honest, that's not going to stop anyone. Broforce, a pixelated side-scroller where your squad is basically a parody of every 80s, 90s action hero. You've got Rambo, Blade, Judge Dredd, etc. It's chaos, explosions and non-stop destruction. Totally destructible levels, double jumps, wall grabs, bullet storms, the screen turns into total mayhem. Even when you die, your teammates can free a hostage and boom, you're back. Feels a bit like old arcade shooters, but with a modern visual twist. And yeah, bro puns included. You saw what they did there, right? TMNT Mutant Melee. The Ninja Turtles have seen a lot of games over the years. This one's a 3D brawler with 5 different modes: Campaign, Last Man Standing, Knockout, King of the Hill and Keep Away. And you can play most of them in co-op with up to 4 players. The roster is solid, you start with Core 4 and unlock others like Splinter, Casey and April. Not the flashiest game out there, but a fun pick for a short couch brawl, especially if you love turtles. Kawabunga! The next one is Unruly Heroes, a fast-paced beat-em-up based on a journey to the West legend. 4 heroes, switch between them mid-combat or share the roster with a co-op partner. Each one has a unique style, some better for bosses, others for exploration or finding hidden loot. Playing with a friend makes it easier, a way more fun. You'll spend less time swapping and more time pulling off combos, clearing waves of enemies and finishing the main story together. Guilty Gear Strive, one of the slickest anime-style fighters out there. Guilty Gear dates it back to 1998 and Strive is a full-on revamp. New mechanics, updated character designs, all running on Unreal Engine 4. You start with 15 fighters from the main series and the season passes add 18 more. This one's a treat for anyone who likes fast matches, bold visuals and music that makes your speakers cry. Personally, it hits me right in the nostalgia, reminds me of old school anime fighters from the PS1 days. Part 4. Explore, Survive and Build. Survival and adventure games. For some reason my son loves this category more than any other, so we tried a bit of everything here. Let's start with Valheim. If you're into Norse mythology, base building, boss fights and cozy campfire moments, Valheim is a perfect fit. Sure, it's designed primarily for online co-op, but with a second gamepad and Steam Remote Play you can totally set up a local adventure on a shared screen. Hunting, surviving, building your Viking home and exploring new biomes. Doing all that together really feels like a journey. Don't starve together. One of the most stylish and unforgiving survival games out there. Danger hides behind every bush. Local co-op via split screen or remote play works well and pulls you into a dark yet beautiful world where gathering resources is only half of the battle. You also need to keep your sanity. It's scarier and funnier together, especially when one of you dies and come back as a ghost to hunt the other. Personally, we didn't quite get into it, but I fully see why it became a cult classic for so many players. Outward Definitive Edition. This is pure co-op RPG hardcore. This game has native split screen, so you can sit on the couch, chart your course through hostile lands, plan your attacks, and share loot like you're on a true fantasy expedition. You can't save anytime, you are no superhero, and even food and sleep are things you have to earn. But when you've got a partner who's got your back in the fight or brings you a meal, it's twice as good. It takes skill and patience, but co-op fans, it's a gem. Children of Morta, a family-driven roguelike saga where you play as the Bergsons, guardians of a mythical mountain threatened by darkness. Each character has their own combat style, and playing co-op turns this into a true tactical fairy tale. You can go through the story mode or try the family trials, a separate mode packed with challenges. It's great balance between action and atmosphere. We haven't played it yet, but it sounds awesome. That's why I'm adding it to the video. Spelunky 2. This isn't just a platformer, it's spelunking chaos. Levels are procedurally generated, traps are everywhere, and yes, your co-op partner might accidentally throw you into lava. Local co-op is supported, and if you're into fun disasters, this one's for you. You can help or sabotage each other, but the main thing is die in a funny way and try again. This one's also on our co-op backlog. Part 5. Platformers and puzzles. When thinking and jumping go hand in hand. Unravel 2. Oh, this one's pure magic. Soft visuals, neated characters, the vibe of Nordic nature, and gameplay that revolves entirely around cooperation. Unravel 2 is perfect for calm, thoughtful co-op sessions. You play as two Yarnis connected by a single thread, facing challenges built around trust, support, and a well-timed tug. This game is more about heart than adrenaline, perfect for a quiet evening together, just to relax and be present in a cozy yet emotional story. It was the second time my 6-year-old daughter ever played. It's super simple for seasoned gamers, but if you've got a friend or relative who's new to gaming, this is a treasure for easing them in. Trine, the whole series. Trine is a beautiful fairy tale platformer puzzler. You control 3 heroes, a knight, a thief, and a wizard, switching between them or playing co-op with each person controlling one. Physics-based puzzles, magic, undead enemies, all wrapped in stunning visuals and a dreamy fantasy soundtrack. It's perfect for solving things together and celebrating when a solution finally clicks. A great pick for family play, I can say. It honestly feels a bit of the Lost Vikings, a childhood favorite of mine. Magicka, both of them. What if you gave players full freedom to mix magical elements into custom spells, then threw them into a fantasy world full of absurdity? You'd get Magicka. It rewards experimentation and chaos. Accidentally killing your teammate? Not a bug, a core feature. In co-op, you're not just battling, you're constantly laughing at the disasters you cause yourselves. Best played sober, but maybe not necessary. Up to you, only if you're plus 18 of course. Biped. In Bipe you control 2 adorable robots, who walk only using legs, no hands. Every action is done by waiting, stepping, spinning, and it's equal parts charming, tricky, and hilarious. The puzzles rely on a precise coordination, timing, and mutual support. It's a great test of patience and rhythm. Perfect for thoughtful, careful duos, or with kids. Thought probably kids who already know how to game. This one's not super easy. Never Alone. Created in collaboration with Alaska Native communities, Never Alone is a poetic, cultural platformer adventure. You play as Nana and her loyal fox companion, crossing frozen landscapes, facing spirits and storms, solving puzzles, and learning to rely on each other. In co-op, each player controls one character, and neither can succeed alone. That's the whole point. Deep, beautiful and full of atmosphere. I've played it at different times with my son and my wife. It's still on the list to try with my daughter as well. Part 6: Racing and Trackside Madness. Team Sonic Racing. If you love teamwork but with boosts and drifts, Team Sonic Racing is for you. It's not just about crossing the finish line first, it's about helping your crew, share speed boosts, toss power-ups to teammates and shield your body on tight corners. All of this happens at insane speeds with familiar Sonic characters and music that begs you to floor it. Great for local co-op with 2 or even more players, family, friends, party guests. The team-based racing mechanics makes it extra fun. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, a remake of the original PlayStation classic. CTR Nitro Fueled is a pure arcade chaos. Bright tracks, multiple game modes, split-screen support and of course wild power-ups, missiles, traps and turbo boosts. Perfect for a fun night of racing or a fierce showdown, especially if you both grew up with the original. Every corner is a chance for a ridiculous comeback. Also a great way to say, "Look kid, this is what dad used to race 25 years ago." Split Second. Split Second isn't just a racing game, it's a demolition show. You're not just overtaking, you're blowing up bridges, dropping towers onto the track and literally reshaping the race live. It's addictive, explosive and best of all it supports 2-player split screen. Turn your living room into an action movie set. This is pure adrenaline meets strategy and it looks amazing. Rocket League. Soccer plus cars equals Rocket League. You're not just driving, you're trying to slam a giant ball into the opponent's goal. Simple idea but surprisingly deep, especially in local matches. 2v2, 1v1, 3v3 with bots. Pick your mode, split the screen and prove you can drive and think like a striker or a goalie. My son mostly stood on the goal while we played. It was funny. High energy, lots of fun, but kind of tricky to get God. We dropped it off pretty quickly once it started feeling like esports. Part 7. Browser games and simple joys for the humblest PCs. Fireboy and Water Girl. A genre classic, a childhood nostalgia for a whole generation, at least in Slavic countries where I was raised. This fiery boy and watery girl duo solves simple yet fun puzzles, hops across platforms, dodges traps and open doors. 2 players, 1 keyboard, arrows for one, WASD for the other. All you need is a browser and a good mood. A great pick for a relaxed evening, especially if you're craving a bit of throwback magic. Also ideal for kids under 8 if you're ready to introduce them to the basics. Drunken Boxing browser version. Yes, there are tons of versions. They all share the same recipe. Wobbly fighters, random punches and tons of laughs. The controls are that simple, the physics are absolutely bonkers and that's what makes the matches so much fun. You can launch it right in the browser, no installs, no setup. If you want instant chaos without downloads, this is the perfect pick. Stickman games. Stickman are basically a whole browser-based universe from fighting games to platformers and even weird little simulators. The mechanics are simple, the visuals are minimalistic, but that doesn't stop things from turning into full-on battles for keyboard control. Most of these games support 2 players, just split the controls and go. It's a great way to burn 15-30 minutes and laugh your head off. Back in the days, I used to watch Flash Stickman animations, yeah, I'm that old, and dream of playing something like that. Decades later, the options are endless, and yeah, I still hop into a few now and then. Part 8. Genre benders and something special. Lego series, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter and much more. Lego games by Traveler's Tales aren't just a series, they're a whole galaxy of co-op fun. Sure, gameplay is pretty similar across titles, run around, smash stuff, collect beats, solve simple puzzles, but every entry brings its own humor and iconic world. Marvel, Star Wars, Batman, Harry Potter, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. Pick your universe and dive in. Local co-op works straight out of the box and the difficulty is low enough for gamers and non-gamers alike. These games are rare gems in our family. My wife's not a gamer at all, but Lego games somehow pull her and my son in. They've actually finished a few of them together. Potter, DC, Jurassic World, maybe even more I don't know about. A Way Out. One of the best examples of storytelling built entirely around co-op. You play as 2 inmates breaking out of prison and making their way to freedom. Everything hinges on a teamwork. One distracts the guard, the other grabs the tool. One drives, the other shoots. It's emotional, well written, and the ending really sticks with you. A full-on cinematic experience and absolutely unplayable solo. Still on my backlog to play with my son once he is a little older. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 remake. Honestly, I don't even know what to say here, just hundreds of childhood hours brought back beautifully in this remake. One of the few skateboarding arcade games that truly works in local co-op. 2 players, 1 halfpipe, endless tricks, and a constant battle for the highest combo. It's not racing, not fighting, it's a musical trick-based rhythm game where timing and instinct rule. Perfect for a chill but competitive evening. Sadly, I've got no one to share the couch with for this one. No one close to me right now gets the goosebumps I do when I see this duology. Gears of War. Yes, it's a shooter. Yes, it's aliens and war. But Gears of War, especially Gears 5, is also a great example of co-op done right in a story-driven action game. You can play split screen, take on defined roles, and move through the campaign together. If you want to blast stuff but still stay connected to a good story, this is the way. Especially fun if you go through the whole series as a duo. I used to play it with colleagues at Igromania first, then Virtus Pro and Ruhav Studios. Warm memories all around. Highly recommended for shooter-loving friends. And here we go, the finish line. 50 games, 50 reasons to grab someone by the keyboard, the gamepad, or maybe just by the hand and spend an evening not just playing but sharing an adventure. Looking for chaos? Go with Super Bunnyman. Want something heartfelt? Unravel 2's your pick. Craving flashy showdowns? Guilty Gear or MK are waiting. Or just want to laugh non-stop? Plenty of that too. But most important, don't put it off. Games are emotions and they hit harder when you're not alone. If this video helped you out, let me know in the comments. Got a favorite co-op game we missed? Drop it below. It might end up in the next video. Thanks for the like, the sub and the bell. See you in the game.